Yeah, we on. Hello, world. It is Friday. This is my final rehearsal vlog for the week. And today I am mostly feeling really angry. And yeah, I am going to talk about that in this vlog. So something I want to clarify in case it's not clear. I've made a commitment to myself to recording these like on as they come out. So I'm only recording them once and I'm not editing them. So whatever comes out is what goes out into the world, which is challenging and scary sometimes. And after yesterday's, I was like, oh God, I look so tired, and had a bit of a vanity, ego meltdown about how I looked and my image, and that kind of like spilled into feeling like, oh my God, why do we care about this stuff so much? And I know why, because it's drilled into us from birth, and that's a separate rant, which I'll save for a different day. But yeah, today, I didn't go into rehearsals today. My rehearsals have mainly consisted of me being in the bath and making voice notes. So one of the ways that I write is to speak it first and then write it. Not always. Sometimes I write and then speak. And and I've been sitting in the bath recording voice notes about things that are going to be a part of the show. So I'm sitting in the bath recording voice notes about the justice system and the way that our justice system terrorizes people who are already deeply vulnerable and who have been through horrific ordeals in relation to sexual violence or domestic violence or both. And then they're forced to go through all of these unbelievably horrific processes on top of already having gone through unbelievably horrific processes. So I'm speaking about that a lot at the moment in relation to my own personal experience of going through the court process, and in response to the people that I've worked with through the New Pathways organisation and their experiences of going through the court processes, and through my general knowledge of what those processes entail for people who have experienced rape or sexual assault or sexual violence or domestic violence or sexual abuse and or all of the above. So I'm full of like a deep-seated rage at the injustice of those systems today, and the absurdity of them, actually, and the cruelty of them. So that's one thread of my anger. And another thread of my anger is that part of the show is requiring me to consider my own experiences of sexual violence, of sexual assault, of sexual abuse, of domestic violence. And it is so deeply enraging for me to sit here as a 35-year-old woman and be able to there's the dyslexia, catalog, thank you. Catalog this extensive list of incidents and experiences in my life alone. And that's just me, just one human, one woman. And if I wrote them all down, I think they would fill pages, literally pages and pages. And I've been thinking today and raging today about this term, everyday sexism. And I know that this was coined to try and highlight the problem of our attitudes towards women in particular. So at this point, I'm specifically talking about gender-based violence and violence towards women, because that's my experience as a white woman. That is what I've experienced, and just thinking about this, this terminology of everyday violence, that we even have this kind of concept of just the everyday violence, just the everyday groping, or just the everyday harassment, or just the everyday catcalling, or just the everyday fear of walking down the street, just the fear of not being able to feel safe walking down the street, or not feeling safe going to the woods. This is a basic right that should be available to every single human being in the world. And most women at some point in their lives, if not for all of their lives, don't feel safe walking around in the world. And that is inconceivably rage-inducing, and I relate to it massively, and I've had so many experiences in my life where I haven't felt safe walking down the street, where I haven't felt safe coming home from work at night, where I haven't felt able to go out into nature, where I haven't felt like I can move around in the world without checking over my shoulder or without holding on to my keys just to make sure that I've got some kind of weapon if and when something happens. So this is another thread of my anger today. And another thread that's been, like, I'm laughing, and I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of stuff moving in me while I'm talking about this. And there's a tragedy in it that borders with what's the word? With humor in the most dark and tragic sense. Like, there's something absurd about it that can tip into that space of like, oh my God, maybe we have to laugh at this because it's so messed up. And also because I'm nervous expressing my anger publicly. And so this is probably another reason that the laughter comes up, because as a woman who's experienced sexual violence and domestic violence and sexual abuse, I've also simultaneously spent my entire life being told that it's not okay for me to be angry, that my anger is not welcome, that it's unattractive, that people don't want to hear it, that they don't want to see it, they don't want to be around it, it's messy, it's difficult, it's annoying, it's uncomfortable, it's loud. And so there's this other rage, like, bubbling under the surface of, oh my God, like, my anger is valid. It is so, so valid. And where do I take that? Because I'm always being told that it's not welcome and it's not appropriate. And so part of me sitting here today trying to record this video and be authentically angry is nervous and scared, because I have all these stories in me that say, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't speak openly and plainly about being angry about these things. You know, that's not cool. That's not allowed. That's going to lead to more violence. That's going to lead to more harassment. That's going to lead to maybe something bad happening. And the reality is sometimes that is the case. So then there's another fold of like, great, okay, so I don't feel safe, and then I'm angry because of these things that have happened to me, and then I can't express that I'm angry because that might make more bad things happen to me. So it's a really messed up loop. And this show is definitely, like, on a personal level, I need this show and this process because there are not enough spaces in the world where people who have experienced the things that I've experienced can stand or sit or crawl or cry or do what they ever need, like, do what they need to do and share their anger, like, in its rawest forms, in its messiest forms, in its loudest forms. And so this show for me, personally, is a space that I can do that. And I hope is a space where I can give voice to these other people that I've been lucky enough to work with and whose experiences have also been silenced or boxed away or told that they weren't acceptable, or it was too noisy, or it was too messy, or it was too loud, or it was too angry, or it was too uncomfortable, or it was too sad. And so I'm really hoping that this show, at the very least, can be a space for some of us to be able to express how deeply angering it is that this is the state that we are in the world now. This is my vlog for the day. Thank you very much for listening. My face is hot. I'm hot. And I can't work out how to turn the button off. I can't find it. It's here. Ooh. My name is Bethan Deer, and I am really, really angry.